Good evening. Hi, guys.
Hey.
That was really ominous, right? It's my first evening lounge for Q101. Thanks for being here. And my absolute honor, one of my absolute favorite, one of the most interesting, unique bands that I get to play in Q101 is here today. Please make it very, very loud for Aaron and Mark. AWOLNATION!
Yeah!
Hello, gentlemen. Welcome back to Chicago.
Thanks for having us.
Thanks for making a very special trip just to hang with us here tonight in the lounge. I mean, how cool.
Awesome.
And you will be back for a proper show in like a month, but there's so much happening right now. There's a new project, new album, new babies.
Oh.
Yes.
Congratulations.
Thanks.
I know your private life is very private. You're one of the few, I think, rock stars that I think really appreciate the privateness. So just to shut up, if you don't want me to ask, but we have 2 twin boys.
The weird thing is just, do I stay on the stool? I'll share that I just found a dry banana in my backpack. I've been feeding them, and we'll leave it at that. But it was a cute little thing.
Hashtag dad status. Oh my gosh, it's just so amazing. And you've been, I don't know, in this lifestyle for decades, and now obviously this is a new chapter for the band, for you as a dad. What is the biggest challenge trying to balance it all right now?
The challenge mostly is that I have blisters on my feet, and I remove these loafers. I thought they were ready, but they're not quite ready.
No. I don't recall you wearing shoes very often.
Yeah, so
Yeah.
I'm gonna get back into my normal self. But to answer your question, the main thing is to be able to multitask, and I think it's been, a thrust into being able to stay calm in a lot of chaotic situations. Certainly, and it's helped me to want to do more music and stay focused when I do have free time because I have less than before. And so yeah, it's been nice to do as much as I can when I can.
Mm-hmm.
So there's a different kind of focus.
Different kind of multitasking, because that's something that throughout your career you have mastered, doing 25 things at once. Let me give you my impression of Aaron Bruno, because I've always told you, I just want a day inside your head. I just want to know.
Oh no, you don't.
What goes on in there.
You just set me up too good.
But in my mind, Aaron Bruno is walking down the street and there's a skyscraper being built over here, and then there's somebody working on their car engine over here, and you're hearing the zing, zoom, zang. You're like, I'm gonna put that on a record.
I would say that's fairly accurate, except there's usually not a skyscraper, it's usually dirt.
Okay.
The ocean or something like that.
Okay.
The city definitely feels strange to me and foreign still, even though living in California, LA is a big city, of course, but at a certain point, I stopped wanting to go into the city anymore.
Sure.
But buildings freak me out. We're in one.
You're a natural soul. You like to be surrounded by wilderness, and I feel like that's when you're most creative, probably.
Possibly, but every once in a while you'll be thrown into an atmosphere that you're not necessarily totally comfortable with, and that may spark a different kind of idea. And being uncomfortable can be inspiring as well, because you have to figure out a way to, stay calm and, find the positivity in everything.
Sure.
Like, this isn't necessarily an easy thing to do, to stand up here and talk. You're good at it. You're a natural, so I've had to learn how to be comfortable, in my own skin with lights and a great guitar player next to me and no shoes on.
It's a lot.
Why do you have the mic, though? Are you going to be buzzing vocals?
I don't know.
It's
a pickle, actually.
It's a family event here. So I'm so happy to hear that this is not your final AWOLNATION album, because when we first got Panoramic View and did a first listen music video on the Q101 YouTube channel, that was the rumor, is that you're a dad now, you've got a lot on your plate, and maybe this is the final chapter for AWOLNATION.
It still may be, though.
No.
Yeah.
No.
You said no.
Did I say no? Did I say no?
Yes, you said it's not.
Okay. Well, it may not be.
Okay. What I understood is you approached it like
Yeah.
it was your final album. So what does that mean?
Well, each time you go to write a group of songs and you're trying to create a new story, a new world, let's say. This being the fifth, and then I did this covers album with a bunch of friends and features, and I don't count that as a real album, even though it was a lot of fun to make. You have to figure out what you're going to do that's new or different to inspire you, and so I thought it would be a really good challenge to assume that it may be the last. I don't mean to sound so sad as I say this, but that it could potentially be that. What if it was the last album? I'd want people, the listener, to walk away and think that it was a good journey and feel like I put my best foot forward. I mean, how many conversations have we had with people where we didn't know it was going to be the last, right?
Ugh.
And so, also it could be a good thing, by the way, once in a while, right? So, I went into it thinking, well, if this is the last dance, then it better be good.
Okay.
And also I'm just lying because it won't be the last. No, I really don't know.
Good.
I don't know. Anything's possible. I mean, when I made Angel Miners and the Lightning Riders, the last thing I thought was going to happen is that the world would shut down.
It's all your fault.
The album was so good that they just...
It
Just
spawned
kidding,
a
of course.
virus. It
Yeah.
was so damn good. So these songs originated right after Angel Miners and the Lightning Riders, and then...
Well, after completing an album and putting it out, it's I've always found it to be difficult to immediately want to write new songs because you just sort of gave birth, if you will, to this group of songs, right? And as I know firsthand, birth is painful.
You were the room.
Yeah, and so and so I wanted to take a breath, and it was refreshing that I had the opportunity to be home and do these cover songs. And most people were sitting at home anyways. So when I reached out to different artists like Tim McElrath, local boy from Rise Against, or Beck or Jewel, they all said, "Yeah, I'm not doing anything."
Yeah.
Really, you're not doing anything? I'm doing a lot. Let's go. So that was a nice palate cleanser. Let's call it a power nap. And then when I woke up from that, it was time to get into this Phantom 5 album.
Okay. So who are the Phantom Five?
Well, it's all of us, probably.
It's you,
yeah,
Zach, and-
No, not us. Just all of us.
Oh.
I mean, people who are searching music out. Still feel complete artistic freedom to listen to whatever you want to listen to, read whatever you want to read, watch whatever you want to watch. And so that was sort of the concept behind that. And the number 5 is special if you look into it. And last, it's the 5th album.
Okay.
Sometimes, by the way, things aren't as complicated as they seem, and it just sounds cool. And then you figure out what the hell it means after.
I don't know. Whenever AWOLNATION's involved, I think it's extremely complicated, like more than I would ever think. But
Thank you for saying that.
You're welcome. All right. So if the Phantom Five, because when I hear the Phantom Five, I think superheroes. So
Exactly, and that sounds fun, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
So if you were a superhero, who would you want your power to be?
This is who would I want to be as a superhero?
Or just your supernatural power?
Oh,
This is payback for what you asked me back there.
Sure.
We'll get into in a second.
well, Superman's my favorite superhero, and that's such an uncool answer. I know that. Everybody loves Spider-Man, Batman, and there's all sorts of new characters as well. But I love the 80s Superman movies, and I just watched them recently again. But to answer your question, time travel would be pretty cool if that was my ability.
I remember Superman time traveling.
Because if
He's
you,
a
no,
fly.
he didn't. Well, he could actually. He could reverse
Yeah.
time by flying around the globe
Oh.
and preventing, Lex Luthor to break off California, so Arizona would have been the coast.
Gotcha. Okay.
Gene Hackman, great performance.
Love it.
Agreed. So you're Superman.
Because if you could time travel, you could do anything.
Yeah.
What couldn't you do?
Well, you couldn't give birth to a baby.
Yeah.
So I'm sure
couldn't?
there's things.
You
If
could still
could
give.
time travel? You could?
Oh, me? No, correct.
Yeah.
But Superman can't either.
That's true.
Right.
Right.
Okay. All right. So if you're Superman, what's your kryptonite?
Mark.
That's amazing. All right. So we also have a new project from you.
I had nothing.
Like you have nothing else going on
Yeah.
lately. Please tell me about the Barbarians in California and how this started. This is
Well-
another project with Zach and Isaac.
Yeah. Mark's declined to join our band, actually, funny enough, but we'll get into that another time. He's a busy guy.
I love it. I love
He's
it.
a fan, so that's important to me.
Mhm.
The Barbarians of California, for anyone who is interested, is a heavy metal, hardcore punk project I started with my engineer Eric. Zach and Isaac are also in that, and that was also something I was able to do when everything was shut down. So that was another thing that came out of the cancellation of that whole record cycle, and the covers album, the Barbarians, and then the start of the Phantom 5 song. So I look fondly on the opportunity to have that much time in the studio, and it's something that's really fun for us. No expectations. It's not the same kind of pressure that this has at all. No one even knows us yet. It's that honeymoon phase, discovery phase. And also, I think that, and only other people can decide this, but it seems like I think I was able to focus on the Phantom 5 in a new way because I was able to get this brutally aggressive music out of my system at the same time. Where before I would sometimes, and that's not to say that there aren't heavy moments on this new record, but there's just a different kind of compartmentalizing going on in my life, especially with these two projects going on simultaneously. So, and I know so many of our listeners like the heavier part of AWOL, but I think it's just coming from a different place, and I'm able to spread it out.
How are you able to figure out through the AWOLNATION filter and the Barbarians filter what goes where? Obviously, Barbarians, if you haven't heard it, so badass. 3 songs so far. Every single one is on a workout playlist of mine.
Thanks.
Because it just makes you kick your own ass. So how do you decipher when you're coming up with these ideas now, where are they going to go?
It's pretty clear, the Barbarian stuff is full heavy metal, and like while AWOL does tickle or flirt a little bit with metal at times or heavier music, there's this Barbarians is more metal,
Yeah.
and AWOL is just kind of a different kind of power or a different kind of heaviness, and it's all the same thing, and in some ways it's sort of a double album. The Barbarians record, and it's coming out around the same time as the Phantom 5, and so in many ways it's like the dark and the light.
Wow. Okay, so Phantom 5, August 30th.
There's still heavy shit on the AWOL record though.
We trust,
Get
we know.
twisted,
We trust you.
And I know we went with the ballad first, and I appreciate everybody listening to it.
It's the #1 requested song on Q101 right now.
Whoa, didn't know that. That's awesome.
Now you know. Okay, so what's the date on the Barbarians album, and what is that called?
I don't know the date
Okay.
at all. Sometime in September, maybe, or October. Oh yeah, the beginning of October. And the album's called And Now I'm Just Gnashing My Teeth. Because I don't, have you ever been so frustrated but you just can't do anything about it, so you just sit there,
Can totally relate.
So I just wrote songs about it instead.
So we started getting gifts in February, and just a couple days ago we just got Far Out, bro, right?
Yeah.
With Daryl from Snapcase. I mean,
Buffalo, New York, hardcore legend.
so dope.
And Tim may or may not be on a song.
McElroy?
Yeah.
Yes. I think when you can put Rise Against in anything, it's a good thing. Kind of like AWOLNATION. This little sprinkle, on your cereal,
Yes.
whatnot.
Yes.
It's a good day. I will say I was bummed that you weren't throwing out the first pitch at the Cubs game today.
Yeah, I got to do that a couple of years back.
It was like 10 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Can you believe that?
I'm stronger now, so I think
I know. Can we get them on the phone at maybe
they're
next?
faster. And I got to do the take me out to the ball game whole deal, and that was an incredible experience. I'd seen Eddie Vedder do it before.
Mm.
A lot of pressure. Talking about, I mean, this is it's kind of scary, but this was much more scary because you're standing up there behind, the catcher and just seeing a sea of people. And don't hate me, but I'm a Dodgers fan, so I respect the Cubs. I love the Cubs. That was my first Little League team. We were the Cubs. But so it was scary.
I will have you all know that he threw out the first pitch, and then the end of the season, we won the World Series. So,
Yeah.
thank you, Mr. Bruno. When I think about AWOL Nation and Chicago and Q101, like our history is just so long and twisted together, and we're so lucky in that way. And when I think specifically AWOL Nation Chicago, there's one thing that will always poke out in my mind. I'm curious what it is for you.
With Chicago?
With Chicago specific.
Prior to this project and this journey, I was in a band called Hometown Hero, and through the punk rock scene and friends of friends, I became buddies with Nate Mendel, the bass player of the Foo Fighters, and our band wasn't even ready to be playing that kind of show at all, and I convinced him somehow, some way, to let my band open up for the Foo Fighters on a rescheduled show here in Chicago. It was snowing. I can't remember the venue. It's one of the classic theaters.
Chicago Theater, maybe?
I can't recall the name. It may have even
Yeah.
changed names by now. This is
Okay.
a long time ago.
Gotcha.
And we came in the snow, and it was a sold-out show. And we walked on stage, and that was my first legit show I'd ever played. And I remember thinking I got this, I'm ready. And I walked out, and there was just a sea of people and a spotlight on me, and I was horrified. And we weren't very good. So that's the first thing. I did do a stage dive at the end of the set, and I had a vintage Headbangers Ball shirt that I lost.
Oh, dang it. Do you think you're going to stage dive here in the lounge?
Yes.
Well, one of the thoughts that comes to my mind, which, I mean, the AWOL Nation played our first ever Nights We Stole Christmas, headlined all picnics, and who was at picnic 2018? It was the hottest one we've ever had. The heat index was 108. It was, I mean, we were literally melting. And then there's Aaron Bruno just lapping the lawn, just working out. And
Actually running?
Yes.
Okay.
Before the main
Right.
pavilion opened up, you're out there. I was like, holy crap, I hope someone is chasing him with a water bottle and he doesn't pass out.
That's a good way to prepare for a show, is to go running in the heat if you're going to be suffering anyways. Yeah, so it wasn't so bad, and plus the sun went down once we played, so it wasn't so bad. But we got to play with Soundgarden out here at one of your festivals. I want to say it was Soundgarden and the Yeah Yeah Yeahs,
Yeah.
maybe, and some other great bands. And so we've always had, you guys have put together such great lineups, and so we've been lucky to be a part of quite a few of those, and hopefully more.
Well, we're lucky to have you and to know you. I'm curious if you've done any rap battles lately in this new chapter.
I retired.
You retired?
Yeah.
What would it take to get you back on the circuit?
I'm just not good enough.
All right.
Everybody got better and I stayed the same, which is also true for Little League Baseball. I was great in 8th grade and then everybody got good and I quit and started writing songs.
That's amazing. Well, we're going to hear some in just a second. Final question. I found myself saying this when I was listening to Panorama View the first time, and I don't know what it means, so maybe you can define this. I said, oh, we're about to get AWOL Nationized. I don't know what I was...
Before you heard it?
While I was hearing it.
Oh.
Like right before a breakdown. And then...
I don't think I could say it better than that.
Okay. Can we get AWOL Nationized?
Like EYES, AWOL Nation Eyes?
AWOL Nation I-Z...
ED?
ED.
Apostrophe somewhere in there, I'm sure.
Probably.
Right.
Couple Q's. Yeah.
Yeah.
It's like a physical thing
Is that the, well,
that
I don't
happens
know.
to your body
Yeah.
at an AWOL Nation show or just listening to an AWOL Nation song. AWOL Nationized.
it's been interesting that, like, so now I'm talking to people about these songs, and I hadn't really talked to anyone in a while about any of this stuff. And so people keep saying stuff like, welcome back, right? And I don't know. Don't call it a comeback. I've been here for years. One of the greatest songs of all time. But it just seems like people are more open for music now. It was hard to listen to new music during all that I won't speak about. We all wanted to listen to like yacht rock and other classic stuff that took us back to a more innocent time of our childhood and when everything was more simple. So it just seems like everybody's ready to move forward.
Definitely. Are you ready to move forward? Whoopsie. Would you guys mind AWOL-nationing us? Nope, that's not even the word I said. AWOL-nationing. AWOL-nationizing?
There you
Thank you
go.
very much.
What do you want to do first, Mark?